Joe, when you get here early, no.
Gonna need some help with
And the donuts were delicious. I know.
All right, have a gavel.
Another G, another G.
You get a gavel, just don't get it. You had an extra gavel if you want one.
Do we rock and roll?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order at 8:31 a.m. In consideration of others in the business conducted today, please silence your phones and refrain from speaking unless recognized. The meeting is also being broadcast on Zoom. If you're interested in speaking during public comment, please let the presiding officer know when public comment, that's me or Joe. Again, this public meeting, community of Glendora. Thanks for being here. All members are present.
Miracle.
Kathy, I chose you last time for the pledge allegiance. I'm gonna choose Ronnie.
For what?
The pledge of allegiance.
Okay, that's right.
It's my, the most power that I have and I will wield it.
You remember. I know.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just like elementary.
All right, does anyone wish to reorder or add to the agenda? Awesome. And now we'll open the public comment period.
See, Louise and Megan and Crystal are online.
Any by email or Zoom? Great. We'll close public comment. And we'll go to excuse me, reports from each board member.
I don't have anything to report other than the fact that the wine walk posts the billboard across the street is really hard to read. I was driving in and you can't see anything but Athens logo. And I have good vision, thank God. But it's hard to see what it is. It just looks like a white banner. So I don't know if that's gonna deter people from knowing what's happening in 2 weeks. But I can't wait to hear where we're at for tickets with Louise. See it from moving. But the banner is just not, you can't see unless you're underneath it.
It's on the street?
It's up,
Okay.
yeah. And it's next to a blue and yellow sign that's very visible, so it makes it look even more invisible.
I was gonna say, I did see the banners, but I saw a white banner and I had no idea what it was.
Right. That's a good point.
Is there a change, is there a way to change it to who, do we need to address that, or what do we do at this point?
We'll talk to Megan when we get there.
Not at this point. I mean, it really, honestly, it's not gonna determine any effect on the event. Those banners don't affect the event. I mean, overall.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, with the graphics and stuff, they're thin, so it's difficult on big stuff, but.
Maybe it work the other way around. People will say like,
What
oh,
is
it's
that?
white. What is it?
Yeah.
What's it? It's gonna create more. It's maybe it's good marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we can note that.
Yeah, yeah, we can.
For me, I was just gonna ask, we still have the Christmas or, I don't know, if those are winter banners up and down the avenue. So I don't know to whom we need to talk to remove those and change them to the new, the new season.
Okay, Rick at R&R does that on the schedule, so
Okay,
you should.
well, we're in March.
Yeah, I'll check with him.
Thank you.
So, Joe, do you have a report?
Well, just some community stuff, a village business, the old owner of Southland Properties, Gary and Kathy Boyer, are citizens of the year this year. So, if you're interested in that, the event is April 17th. And then also the chamber, the new community directory came out and has a lot of community information, history, that kind of stuff. So if you have somewhere you want brochure or directories in your place of business, we have the supply of those. So just wanted to kind of share that stuff.
Thank you. All right, Alicia, Chantel,
No reports at this time.
no report.
No report at this time.
Oh. All right, Megan.
Hello, good morning, everybody. So basically right now for events in the events department, obviously our main focus is going to be wine walk. As of right now, I can't remember what my last update was from last month, but we have all of our sponsors, all of our pour stops, all of our wine has been ordered. We're pretty much just at the wire now with just the last minute details and stuff to get wrapped up. Entertainment's looking great for this year, and I really appreciate all of the businesses that have reached out to let us know that they're also providing entertainment or different elements to their pour stops as well. That's just going to continue to enhance the event. As a reminder, I know I briefly touched upon this at our last meeting, but as a reminder for this year, we are going to have the bus plaza be utilized as the check-in. It's going to stay open through the entirety of the evening, and it will also serve as lost and found and just a resource booth for the event. That's just a little different from in years past. We've had 2 check-ins, but just as we've been seeing more and more ticket sales each year, and just the volume of people, it just makes more sense to have just one localized location for that. Other than that, like I said, we're on schedule with all of our kind of checkpoints that we do throughout this planning process. Other than that, I think that's all I have, but open to questions if anybody has any.
How many tickets have we sold so far?
490.
Oh,
What's the goal?
That's 38% to the goals. The goal is, the goal's 1,300. The majority of the sales come in the last couple weeks. So I'm got an email going out this Saturday and then a few next week as we lead up to the early bird.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Matt. That also reminds me too, we are selling obviously online. They're $50 from now till March 15th. They're also in store at Crust and Crumble from now. Well, they've been there since the 15th, February 15th. They're in person at Crust and Crumble as well for $50. And then after March 15th, they go up to $55 like they always do for the last week, and they will be online only. We are not selling any tickets at the door, which we haven't in a few years, mostly because we hit our max, prior to that.
Do you know how many people have bought in store?
I can check actually right now. Just give me one second here.
Megan, I have a question. How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
wine stops are there this year?
We have 22.
And what's the status on having businesses have tents for food or for other stuff?
So upon kind of further discussing this, putting my feelers out there and discussing this with the city and a couple other people, it's not as easy as I was hoping it was going to be. Part of the thing is, and I'll let, Alicia, are you present today?
I am.
Okay, I was gonna say I can let Alicia kind of speak on this too. So part of the issue with having vendors set up on the street, for one, it has to be part of the special events permit. It has to be approved to have that. Also, too, with food and having restaurants participate in that, there's also a food and like health safety portion of that as well that had to have been considered as well. So as of right now, I don't have a definitive answer for you. When I put my feelers out to the restaurants or businesses that serve food that aren't necessarily participating in the wine walk as pour stops, I did not have much interest. Most of them either are not interested in participating to that aspect of it, or they're focusing just on keeping the restaurant itself open for the event. But I can let Alicia speak upon a little bit more about the special permit of it and that kind of stuff.
So when it comes to the special event permit, it includes, and Joe's familiar as well, it includes a map of the event where the event holder, so in this case, the bid would indicate who is a wine stop, and any additional spaces that might be occupied by a tent or another vendor in the street. So when you start adding things off of that permit, you start running into issues with accessibility for ADA and encroachment, because the sidewalk and most of the streets should be accessible, since there's going to be quite a bit of people in the street that evening and consuming alcohol as well. So I think it's a great idea if there's interest, but might be a little hard to do considering the wine walk is 2 weeks away. Have additional tents and things like that are not included on the permit for this event this year.
We can plan this for next year, and then it really baffles me, because how is it that we have all these permits and things and everything, and we still, I'm so sorry, I'm the hot dog police, I love hot dogs, but I mean, how is it possible that we can have vendors that don't have permits, don't have licenses, don't have anything, and they're still here? And then we cannot even, you know, ask them, well, the police have asked them to leave and everything, but all they can do is a fine. A fine to somebody who doesn't even exist, a fine that to somebody that doesn't even have a license, much less a health permit or anything. I mean, just, it doesn't kind of make sense where.
Are we
How
still,
can we
are we
make
still
these
allowing food vendors in, outside food vendors? I thought that we
I think there-
basically got rid of
Yeah, we
that.
got rid of that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
they get asked to leave, but they're all over the place. You can't eliminate them, just ask them to leave when they show up.
No, I understand that part. Well, how can we make this feasible? I understand it's 2 weeks until the event, but like next year or future events, how can we make this easier for, you know, like our restaurants and other vendors to do this?
Well, I think it's more, it wasn't that we couldn't allow them, it's that they didn't want to do it. They don't have the staff or the ability to, the restaurant of the village to come out to have a booth. It was more of that,
Okay.
you know. I mean, yeah, it would have to be added to the event, that we'd have to go through ABC or the health department, run that permitting, have proper tanning, 3-sided sinks, you know, all that kind of stuff. It just, I don't think the restaurants were able to do it.
can we just, going back to the previous conversations we've been having about having food, about having approved vendors that are the businesses, the bid businesses first, being able to have a tent not on the sidewalk, but right at the beginning of the street, like they've done for the car show. What is the process to be able to have Ramones or Crust and Crumble, be able to have a tent right off, not on the sidewalk, but right at the curb? It's been done before.
They just have to let us know they want to do it.
Okay, so we've been talking about this for a couple of months now, though, about using Wine Walk as a test run for being able to have that. So Megan, what you're saying is that nobody wanted to do it?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So it's not, so it's a combination of 2 issues here. So to your point, yes, we have been talking about it, but in all honesty, this was after, like I said, upon further discussion, I'm not getting the traction that I think we were originally anticipating for 1, and for 2, this would have had to have been filed with the original permit way back when we were first starting planning this. So like Dalal or whoever else is saying, you know, how can we can make this initiative, but it's something that has to be way more thought out way prior when we're submitting the original permits for this event.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I just want to come back, you know, next month and have 10 people in here that are like, oh, the wine walk was great, but like, we didn't have any food and we didn't have any stuff and there wasn't anything
Right.
to do.
So, yeah.
Just kind of, you know, the car show always gets brought up. The village restaurants do not, except for Ramon, the first one that really ever had something in the street.
And
Okay.
they should be able to, I mean.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
It's just they don't have the staff or the ability to do it.
Right.
It's
So-
just
But
You know,
they said
that's-
that they did it and it was good
for Ramon, yeah.
for Ramon.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So
So-
then,
They just don't.
for the wine walk in particular, do we need to have a food truck? Do we need to have food trucks at either end of the street so that there's actually food that people can consume?
Well, the wine shops are supposed to be providing food. That's one of the requirements.
They are?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But it's never enough though.
Well, that's the wine stop's fault.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so people are serving food and restaurants are serving, okay.
Appetizers.
Then
Yeah,
I'll-
it's not food per se, it's not dinner per se, so just so that's clear, because it's a completely different story of having dinner or something than having,
Okay.
you know, like.
Yeah, it's just to
Great.
offset the, you know, the amount of wine people consume.
We can move on. Thanks.
Luis, if you're present.
Good morning, everybody. Let me turn off my heater. Let me pull up my numbers here. Okay, so in terms of our social media insights, we had a wonderful month of February. It was actually a really short month, and something odd happened. In terms of sometimes the tool, the scheduling tool that I use sometimes disconnects. So there's a few data missing. So I'm reporting natively for the platform. So just FYI. So in the past 30 days, we've had 66,000, just under 67,000 views on our profile. We've reached individual 8,883 people individually. And in terms of engagement, everything's looking really good. We've had 1,312 interactions. And right now, obviously, the top content that is performing is anything that is Wine Walk. And now that we are in Wine Walk month, you'll be seeing about, 2 static posts weekly leading up to Wine Walk, and then stories every day, just plugging Wine Walk and prompting people to visit the link in our stories. And so that's on the Instagram side. On the Facebook side, over the past 28 days, we've had 25,666 views. We've reached just individually 9,731 individual people, which is actually more than Instagram. And then we've had 238 content interactions. And, everything's being cycled to Facebook and Instagram as well. Matt K, I am waiting on just like messaging. Maybe you emailed it to me so I can blast them out to our overall audience. But yeah, we're hitting everyone on the Facebook side, the Instagram side, as well as the email side for Wine Walk tickets. And that's pretty much the focus for the remainder of March up until the end after March.
Louise, I have a question. Regarding the small businesses and participants in the wine walk, is there any way for us to do like a one-on-one interview with them or walk into their space and introduce them as a stop beforehand?
I don't have the bandwidth to do that. But if you guys wanted to do that individually, because in terms of content, I can, put together like these are the stops and then highlight the stops. But in terms of like going into each stop and individually, that would require way more additional time on my end. So if someone can do that, that would be really, really helpful.
Who are the stops? I can do it.
I can work with you.
Maybe Albert can help me too. Who are the stops? Do we have a list?
There's like 20 something, I believe, from Megan.
Yes, I have the list.
Because if any of them are real estate offices, it's gonna be hard because they're not always open, like John Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm assuming he's a stop.
Mhm.
Can you tell me the ratio of open businesses versus offices that are gonna be participating? I don't have a list in front of me.
I would say out of like the 22 that we have, I would say, majority of them are open and, operating businesses. I think it's more to your point in terms of like John Hart, for instance, like that, like they're open and there's realtors in there, but not all of them are going to be able to speak upon the event, if that makes sense. I would say probably 85 to 90% of them would be available.
Is there a way we can email them directly, just the participants and say, contact, Ronnie or Joe to schedule your interview?
Sure, absolutely. If you want to send me the verbiage, Ronnie, that would be fabulous, and I'll get that out
Okay.
today. That's fine.
We need to do that, so I'll do that. Thanks, Louise.
Yeah, and then Ronnie, if you wanted, just I can start that group chat that we do on Wine Walk. And then we can also tag team on that one too. So just send me the verbiage and then I'll do a group text for whoever is on Wine Walk has an Instagram account, and then I can DM them and then you guys can coordinate from there.
Okey dokey. Joe, you're back up.
Okay.
You have something for us?
Yeah, just kind of, we're in March, so coming up here, at the end of the fiscal year, there's a couple of seats on Delel and Matt Kruger's seat expires June 30th, 2025. So at this point, per your bylaws, we, open those seats up, put it out to application, who wants to apply. And then a committee of a couple of you interview, see who's interested, to see where we want to go for the next fiscal year, July 1st, 2025. So kind of which, this is in your bylaws. There has to be, there's 5 members total, as you know, elected by the bid membership, term for 3 years. After serving 2 consecutive terms, must take a 1-year hiatus. And then nominations will be solicited, reviewed, and interviewed by the bid board selection committee, which that's where a couple of you, because it can't be more than 2 for Brown Act. And then in the public meeting voted upon and that type of stuff. So all bid board members must be in good standings with all assessments current and or payment plans if available. So that's kind of the rules for that. So I just wanted to announce that publicly. So that will be starting that process. And yeah.
Can I ask you something? Are the businesses on Vermont, like the suites and then the new onto others, is that considered bid boundaries or no?
Not new unto others.
No, that's it.
No, okay.
Not on that side. Yeah. But it's which you'll get a report on that here momentarily on what the boundaries are and everything for your end report. But yeah, that side's not. It's just yeah. Questions?
Yeah, I'm not planning on running again. I think this is actually end of my 2nd term. Retiring from public service.
You're too young to retire.
Too young. I'm 65.
You have to go work out there
Yeah.
to look like this, yeah.
I'm only 27. Look at me. But I'm not as old today. Okay, just wanted to share that.
Consent calendar.
Yeah, sorry.
I need a motion to affirm the minutes for the February 6th, 2025 meeting. Right?
I'll make a motion to affirm the minutes.
A second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 6.
Okay, looking at the fiscal summary today, our cash on hand, 173,723.51. As mentioned last meeting, we talked about, earning some interest. So it did go in and there's open up the savings or high yield savings. It's not as high as they were, but it's just under 3%. I know they used to be like 5, but so you'll see more interest accrual. But it's liquid. It's not a CD. It's not because that we'd have to talk about. Total assessments to date $28,063.17, and then wine walk income, which basically is the 4 stations and a couple of sponsorships of $4,800. Looking on the expense side, really the change is more expenses for wine walking, with purchasing the wine, and which there is a report. Sorry, it's so small, printed out. I'll adjust it so it's easier. That shows just testing your eyes. The email it's easier to read. Shows all the transactions that have occurred. So and we're going to adding that to the report. And then, that's really about the only really big expensive wine walk that we're in that process. So, any questions of that? Now, you'll see of next meeting, you'll see all the wine walk income, so all the numbers will adjust and everything, so. But that's the financial report.
All right,
I'll make a motion to receive and file report.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 7. Chantel and Alicia.
You want to- what is it, take a stand? Yeah. Should work.
So today I'll be presenting to you the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual report. So the annual report is required by state law and the GMC to submit to the city council by June 1st and is requirement to review the assessments. This report involves multiple steps, which is why we're bringing it to you early. The bid annual budget review, which we discussed the last meeting and just now. The bid board will recommend city council approval. City council will review the annual report and resolution to levy, which we also send out US Mail and we publish it by ad in the Examiner. And we do 2 public hearings prior to the assessment going into effect. So the annual report is included in your packets. A quick overview. The bid boundaries remain the same as last year. A list of activities, which is included in the line items of each event of the budget. Next to the assessment methodology, which is the same process which is the process that we use to calculate what each business pays, and it hasn't changed. Then we have the surplus revenue, which is the amount of savings the bid has to cover the funding gap. Last, we have the funding source. For the funding, you rely on the assessments and the generated revenue from the events. And as to your point, Ronnie, this is all the bid boundary, which it hasn't changed from years in the past.
They're literally across the street from me. She came into my store last week. She's really sweet. So I was interested in seeing what she was.
So all the businesses in the 99-cent store plaza are in the bid?
Yes.
They just don't pay an assessment.
Why?
Several years back, it was voted on, and when the assessments changed for second story, first story, contractors, all that, there's some non-paying bid or bid members, just depending where they're located.
Got it. Okay.
So this is the assessment methodology, which again is the same as previous years. Some business has 0 assessment, which is on Vermont and Vista Bonita. Secondary businesses is charged 100, and then the primary businesses anywhere between 200 and 600, and 600 will be the max that will be charged. As we discussed again, this is your budget for revenue, and the estimated for fiscal year 2025-26, you're estimated to bring in 120,800. And your total bid expenses. The main thing that has changed was the significant increase to the marketing budget. The expenditures are 155,550, which exceeds the revenue, but will be covered by the surplus funding. But also beware that the surplus funding will decrease each year. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. So this is just an estimate of the fund balance production decrease. So at the end of 2026, we are estimating it'll be at 107,766. Some important dates to keep in mind. So February 6th, last month, the bid board approved the budget. And today is what we're presenting to you, the annual report. On the 25th, we are planning to take the annual report to council so the council can adopt the resolution and the intent to levy the assessments. On April 1st, the resolution and the annual report will be mailed out to the affected businesses. On May 13th, City Council holds a public meeting, and also on May 27th, they'll hold a public meeting for protest votes. So today's recommendations are just to review and recommend approval to the City Council of the Business Improvement District's fiscal year 2025-2026 annual report. That concludes our presentation.
Discuss. Request a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive and file report.
Awesome. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to number 8. Regularly scheduled Glendora Village Bid Committee meeting. But a regularly scheduled Glendora Village Bid Committee meetings for the event and budget committee and the marketing and beautification committees. And assign 2 bid board members each.
This one here is, there's been a lot of talk about the committees and wanting to have them, and so when we should do it in public settings so the bid members can know and then take part in those. So I thought I'd bring it here today to put those together, kind of maybe pick a day where it's a regularly scheduled 1 hour kind of a committee. So it kind of bring that back to you, specific day, morning, possibly before people open. Just your thoughts on good days for you. Some ideas, maybe Monday or Tuesday mornings or Friday mornings, second or third, fourth week of the month kind of a thing. Because usually the first week's kind of crazy. So that's my report, just kind of bring it back to you so we can set those up so we can have those regular meetings. So then here is just a report and make things a little more efficient.
Louise, and Megan, is there any days that you guys are available for those meetings?
So
My schedule changes from day to day, week to week with events and weddings and other things, but I'm open to, there's not like necessarily one consistent day, but Monday through Thursdays, before 6 p.m. is ideal.
Okay.
do we need Megan on the events committee and Louise on the marketing committee?
I think it would be a good idea to at least keep them in the loop, so.
Yeah,
Both for both.
No, you don't really need both for both. It'd be good to have one. No, they don't have to be at every single one of them, but I mean, yeah, that would be kind of the, I would recommend. Could just be in the loop with everything.
Tuesday and Wednesday is probably the best for me on marketing. I don't know if we actually determine who's on each committee.
I know there's been some interest.
We had a marketing committee meeting. I don't, it was Ronnie,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
were on it? Were you
well, I
on
was
that
on the
meeting?
budget.
But
I
budget.
was on also the other one with Kathy, I've been on too.
yeah, one was the bylaws and then the other was
Yeah.
the budget committee. So this, that's when, previous discussion wanted to keep the budget and event together, since that's the moneymaker. And then the marketing and beautification, so we don't have four, 5, 6 committees.
I can commit to the marketing and I can commit to either one as long as it's after this meeting. So
Directly after this?
yeah, so it's like 9:30, we have a meeting at 9:30 to 10:30. Like, I can't commit to anything outside of that right now. Pretty stretched in. Oh, you do. Hold on. I'm really difficult.
I'll volunteer for the event committee. And any day works for me as long as I can get somebody on board.
My term is ending, so I don't feel like I should commit to anything. It's only like I'm 3 months out from that, so. And I've already served like the 2 years. So I mean, if
Oh, we have
temporary,
time.
yeah, if
We have
temporary,
still time.
I can meet with you. Okay.
Okay.
What day did you say?
On anytime you're available.
Yeah, we can do Tuesday.
Tuesday mornings,
Mm-hmm.
what time?
Does 10 work for you?
Well, I open at 10. We could do it before
9,
10.
oh yeah, before 10, like 8:30.
Okay, 8:30. So first Tuesday?
First Tuesday?
First, no, rather not, though.
Let's do the second Tuesday, so
Second
after,
Tuesday.
yeah, after, like, the week after the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we do it more like 9?
Sure.
And then should we meet at the chamber?
Sure. Yeah, because we're gonna put this out to the street too, so members could be part of it and stuff like that, so that's kind of why we're doing this here. And I'll put an email out and invite people to it.
Did you get that, Megan? If you can make it.
Sorry, Louise, are you free like Tuesday, Wednesday mornings?
These like on a weekly basis or a monthly basis?
No, monthly, like third or fourth week of the month.
Tuesday, like if it's in person, I have hard stops. Like I have to start on time and leave on time. I don't have room for, that. But if I can join, I can always commit virtually for sure and let it. But if it requires me time, it's a little hard. But I can commit, once a month on either of those days, as long as I have obviously notice, but just know that I don't have time to not have a hard stop.
Got it.
Cause that's like, yeah.
I mean, we could do, just at the chamber, I could.
Yeah,
we
do it
could
with Zoom.
do Zoom too. Which that'll bring in other members too. Are you thinking of Wednesday or Thursday after this?
If we're already here, and I open, I don't know what time everyone opens, but I open at 11, so there's a gap between the end of this meeting to the next, when I have to open. So if we're already here this early, we could, I figured it's easier just to stay and have that meeting, but
Yeah, I can't. It's already, sometimes if the meetings go to 10, it's already pretty hard to, my preference would be to have it on like the Wednesday morning at your offices. We could open it up to Zoom. But I think it also has to do with what other businesses were able to get to be a part of it.
Yeah, but then with this, we're just gonna set it and then we get people that
Yeah,
do it, because we'll get 4,000 different configurations.
we try to herd the herd, if nobody can get the right times and dates, so.
If it's gonna be like a Wednesday morning, maybe the 4th Wednesday of the month.
Yeah. Let's pencil it in for that. If we're able to join you by Zoom.
What time are you thinking?
8:30. 30-ish.
Yeah, we pencil that in and set something up.
Any further discussion here?
Okay. Next Tuesday.
So I will request a motion
Oh, yeah.
on the assignment and scheduling of 2 board members to each committee.
I make a motion to accept and file this motion.
I second.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, final item is the chalk walk.
That one just brought it back because it was scheduled, or it is scheduled for April 9th. And really not much has happened with it. And we hear a lot of different comments about it, and eventually we have all this kind of stuff. So they'll just bring it back to you in this public setting to see if you wanted to do it then, you want to change the date, you know, do you want to, that type of thing. So just kind of bringing it back forward for discussion and feedback on the next steps for all of us.
I suggested moving the date to May 10th. Yep, well, but that's the chalk walk before Mother's Day. I mean, we don't have, we're not really doing much in the way of, just need people to check in and start, you know, decorating the streets. I thought it'd be, yeah, well, I mean, I thought it'd be
Chucking while the show.
nice to kind of put it in with Mother's Day, so like when people take their moms out for breakfast that downtown, they have something to look at on the sidewalk. So, you know, bring some, plus, I mean, originally, I mean, I talked to Joe about this too. The train station was the opening day events were supposed to be the week before that. So I thought, oh, if we could get people coming in from the train, the chalk walk too, that would help, but I guess they've rescheduled that, but still. It gives us a little more time to plan and. Anything?
Well,
I have no preference on the date.
Okay.
That would be a good idea to bring more traffic to downtown, to hopefully bring more shopping opportunities.
What was that, Ryan?
I don't think we should do it. To organize artists, I plan events. I know how long it takes to like coordinate these types of things, and we're like literally a month away. And then if we push it to May, that's still too much. People have things, spring breaks, vacations. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's profitable. I don't think it's something we need to bring back. But I've expressed that before. It's just for us to have to coordinate something like this quickly. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do it.
Do we have a report on like how we did before, I think prior
Kathy, you've done
years?
it before, right?
I'm sorry?
Kathy's
I
done it
haven't
before.
organized it before.
You haven't organized it?
No.
Organize it.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan of Classic Coffee, and before that was,
Glendora, Goldsmith, Village Goldsmith.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Really?
Were they bid members or no?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
They were bid members at the time.
They
Yeah.
were not on
yeah.
the board though. They were, I mean,
Yeah, the board.
they were, no, John, I don't think Jonathan's ever on.
But we haven't,
And they don't have to be on the
had
board
one for a
to
while either.
coordinate the
Yeah,
event.
exactly.
Does the chamber want to coordinate it?
No,
Yeah.
but then in the just, but then in the, sorry, hey, I said that too fast. No.
At the end.
No, but in the.
So
I mean,
that's
it's really
another.
No, I mean, with this, it was really scaled back, because before it was a whole chalk walk, talent show, whole bunch of stuff, but we haven't had one for what, 5, 6 years?
Like 6 years.
Yeah, since COVID.
Christina Ivy,
It's been a
she
long time.
used to do that
You
too.
know, before all the
talent show.
shutdown is the last time there was. So, but this one, when it was brought back on the calendar, it was more just open up spaces for artists to come, you know, no street closures, no extra events, just an activity.
I have a question.
But
For y'all, How long, like, if we wanted to rent the bus plaza for a bid board event or bid event to do for Mother's Day with chalk in that vicinity, chalk art in that vicinity, a floral bar with the Glendora florist, clothing from participating merchants, if we want to do a Mother's Day activation in that courtyard, how long would it take to get that permit? Do that.
Okay,
while.
done quick.
And what's the cost for that? Because I'm thinking if we do the 10th event that weekend, we can make it a Mother's Day event. And we can have not a whole chalk walk on sidewalks, but it could be that portion of that quad.
Yeah.
Where that's a much, we
More
can still
contained.
call it chalk walk, but it can be
Mother's
the
Day
Mother's
festival.
Day event
Yeah.
for Glendora Village. And then the chalk walk could be participating children who come with their moms, and that can be an activation for the kids to do.
Well, that's what the chalk walk normally is. It's a community event, like families do the artwork, not like art,
Yeah, but it's a
professional
I'm
art.
saying
massive
instead
thing
of it
with
being
like
so
squares and
huge,
judging
it's
and
just
all of
in
that.
that area, you still honor the chalk walk, but it is smaller scale, it's less.
So
coordinated.
there are cobblestones in that bus plaza, and it's not conducive for, chalk artwork.
There's no sidewalk there, I thought there was by the
Yeah,
businesses.
well,
and
but
then
that's sidewalk that's connected to businesses, like we can't do anything on that and, impede the flow of traffic through businesses.
We're still doing that if you chalk in front of my store though.
No,
No, it's-
because it's
it's
on the
always
other
done
side
with
by the
ribbon.
street.
Oh, it's in the street.
No, it's on the other side of the sidewalk by the street. There's like a ribbon where the trees
Oh,
are.
okay.
There's spaces
Yeah,
that we normally do the chalk walk there. We could still do something in the bus plaza
Yeah, tie it in, yeah.
and have the chalk walk spread out on the street. I mean, that would be great.
We've done it before like that. Do we have the numbers on how much money did the Chalk Festival brought in before, like in the past?
We don't make money on the chalk festival.
Yeah,
You
you-
put
I could go
$10 towards it.
back the previous years, but it's not profitable.
Yeah, I have what Jonathan had sent me from the previous years, but to Joe's point, it's not going to be an accurate representation as to what the current event is going to look like, because this was such a huge event that used to happen because of the space that we had prior to parklets, prior to the new benches, planters, etc. But it is not a profitable event.
I mean, we could make it profitable by having vendors, but then we'd have to also close the street and do that kind of thing too, so. Unless we're just planning on having a few vendors in the plaza. So we're not gonna be making that much money, but we'll be making some money back to, offset the money we spend on the event.
Mhm.
Is everybody okay with moving the date? At least, so we can start advertising and getting things, the ball rolling.
I'm fine with moving the
I
date.
mean,
April 5th is at the end of
Tomorrow.
GOSD spring break as well. So,
it's just, it's an event that people still talk about in the community and ask when it's coming back, like they still miss it. So I feel like even if we do it on a small scale and, just get our feet back on the ground and start running with it so we can increase, every year and make it a little better. But
yeah,
whether
you
we
can
let
even
it go,
make the theme of it be celebrating moms,
yeah,
celebrating women, and
Yeah, tie it in with Mother's Day and just you're saying May 10th, right?
yeah, makes sense.
And who would be part of the committee or who would?
Well, we already have events committee scheduled.
Oh,
so we
we're
can
part of
start
it,
planning
okay.
Just, you're it.
That's me.
Tag.
I don't know. Mother's Day for me is, everybody has a mother, not everybody has a lover. It's one of my toughest days in terms of sales. I mean, I'll make myself available to plan, but I wouldn't, I cannot commit to that day. like that week. I just have to be honest, because I don't wanna disappear and then like people saying, but she didn't participate. I won't be able to participate on that one.
Yeah, we should definitely talk to people, the other businesses downtown and get them on board.
Yeah, I can
planning.
help plan it like before, but I won't be available that week, if that makes sense. I
Yeah, that's
don't count on it.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I have my new.
Forest and retail, not Disney on Mother's Day.
I mean, I think it's a good idea to bring more people to the village and everything. That would be like great. I just won't be able to.
The next farmer's market.
I'm working on that, it's just getting the money to close the street.
Okay, May 10th.
Right, yeah.
I move to approve May 10th. That's the new date for the chalk walk.
Celebrating long.
A second, but I'm not committing to it.
So just to clarify, does that include doing something in the bus plaza or the plaza?
I think it's a good idea.
I think
like
it's a
having-
great
yeah.
idea, but. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I
So,
really think it's a
that
good
would-
idea.
Yeah,
And we kind of
can we
done.
put the permit in for that?
Yeah, that wouldn't be difficult. I mean, it's a space.
No, and we already have like the girls from the real estate there, like they do like this thing, even when it's a twilight and all
Yeah,
that. They
Kaleo does a lot of
this, yeah.
Yeah.
So I will, just to, from the city standpoint, the bus plaza isn't a space currently. I know the city is working on
Oh, so we
making
don't have
that,
to pull a permit?
making that. So
No.
you would, but there's no pricing set in place or a permit to rent. That's not considered technically a city facility, nor is there a process to rent that space. The space is utilized within other events such as the wine walk and things like that. I know the chamber has utilized it for a couple of small community things. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Thank you.
And maybe Lori from Pure Soul, since she's at that other corner, she could help there too. We can invite her to be part of it.
Yeah. So, ready to move forward?
Okay, so did you make a motion?
I did.
I
And you
second,
seconded?
yeah.
All in favor?
Hi.
One maybe. Right, I'll invite board members and staff to give closing comments.
Well, happy International Women's Day this weekend, so, thank you for everybody to, celebrate, women. And then I just had a little spill to say. I had a bride about 7 years ago, and I just received these, cards from her, letter. And, it's such an honor on, how like as women, we represent like so many different things. Courage, strength, and then recognizing when you make mistakes, when you move forward, you're a fighter and everything. And she named her daughter after me. So that's, I think, a huge thing. Just a great responsibility, being very humble about that, just a great responsibility to continue serving our community, to continue doing what we need to do, pushing forward, sometimes saying like, I can't do this, but I'll be able to do these other things. And I commend everybody here, not only women, but men as well. I'm not a feminist per se. I really appreciate like everybody coming as together. So yeah, we're celebrating that this week. So.
All right, we'll adjourn the meeting at 9:25. Only a few more left.
I know gavel days are here.
I plan to let the power go if I have it.